Hello. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on where you are. Happy Friday. Today, as I had mentioned, or as we had scheduled, we will discuss the expulsion of Haitian migrants. So I promised I will go into details, or I will provide arguments to show that the mass expulsion or expelling the Haitian migrants is illegal and is inhumane. So I did, my team did prepare a PowerPoint or some slides to give you data and information, but I will also give the legal arguments or more information about, especially the Title 42 that's being used to expel groups of migrants, and how it is in violation of the international humanitarian law, the US law, and the asylum, sorry about that, and the asylum law. Okay, so before we even begin, we have I think most people have seen the horrific images of the custom agents or officers, CBP officers on horseback with reins, whipping migrants or pushing them. Some of them actually fell in the water. Men with children on their shoulders, men with children, women fleeing. And you see, before we even get into the legality, or is it legal, is it this? What about the humanity? It's not human. It's degrading, So there are talks about investigations will be if investigations are going on or are underway to figure out what happened. I don't know if there's much to figure out that happened. What happened was somewhere CBP, I guess, chief in the area there, because mind you, those are federal agents, those are federal officers, federal law enforcement officers. That those are not even the state of Texas police or true or officers. Those are federal, meaning it is the Biden's administration agency officers. Someone decided today, or whatever day was, when there were a surge of migrants coming from Haiti or of Haitians. Today we will have our officers on horseback. That never that I mean, in the past 5 years, the President Trump had so much, uh, you know, blame and shame, and everybody was, including me, which he did so many, not good things. We're not gonna go into details what he did, but what he did not do was put officers on horseback with reins and and for them to whip and beat people. So it's not, before we even go into the is it legal, they broke the law. So is the way they were treated, the way they were made feel less than humans. And we wonder, like, why, given the history of this country, given the history, like, we are trying to erase, and how we are trying to show that all people are equal, they have rights, even migrants, if they even if they are breaking the law, they are still human. They should be treated in a humane, in a dignified way, not made feel less than humans. So, and why one will wonder, and this is something I have noticed as an immigration attorney who is my immigrant who is Black as well, how even in our immigrant community or immigration advocates community, the Black immigrants do not have the protections, do not have or do not gain compassion, because actually I've been scrolling over all the groups I am part of, groups of immigration lawyers, group of immigration advocates. You see only few mention of Haitian migrants. And this has been happening for all different types of Black immigrants. Earlier this year, I gave a presentation because as an immigration attorney, as a Black and, an African American immigration attorney, I have clients from those countries. I do have clients from Haiti. So they will tell, so I do understand where they're coming from. When I see them, I see human beings. When I see them as we saw or we advocate for Africans when they were coming, or when they are being brought here. When I see them as those children who were put in cages separate from their families. I advocate for them the same way I will advocate for any individual. But the sad situation or the sad realization is the Black immigrants, they are not, they don't have the voice. There are not even advocacy or advocates. I mean, in the past, in this year, this Title 42 has been, it's just now, it's making news now because it's happening in our, or the media now it's focusing on it, but it has been around for a while. And I have had contact with Black migrants, from Africa, from Haiti, from different countries in Central America, who are being detained and nobody knows about them. And I've been trying to reach out to organizations. I was able to find some of organizations, but they're back in DC. And actually, I didn't even hear from them. So as an immigration attorney, as a solo practitioner, I can only help few people on pro bono basis, but I do my best. And when there's no advocacy, when there's no like the vulnerable people don't have a voice, and then when it's in front of our eyes and you see the horrible, horrific treatment, the humanizing treatment they received, and still, well, like people went back, like immigration attorneys or other advocates, I don't see them going at the border to help them. I don't see them like they organized when the Muslim ban happened, go in the rally or other big law firms to provide pro bono assistance to these individuals. And then what happens is, yes, they will be expelled. I was actually watching the news. It's reported that only now 2,000 are left. And we heard more than 14,000 migrants from Haiti arrived, and only a few were allowed to come in the U.S. or to be there detained, waiting their cases to be heard. But the rest, they are being deported. Okay, so that was to just give you, like, this is it's not something new. It's something that has to be given a voice, and hopefully something will change. So now let's go into how illegal and inhumane the way the Haitian migrants are being deported is. So I want to share my screen. I want to share my screen with you. So my team prepared a very good presentation. You know, we did research. We just want to provide facts. It's not, you know, just talks, baseless talks. Is, you know, we have facts. Okay. You know, we all saw this picture, and some people were saying, "No, is this true? Is this really happened?" You know, because nobody could believe right now with a democratic president administration, with the DHS, the Homeland Security secretary, who is also an immigrant, with all these people in places who are supposed to be more compassionate, who are supposed to be more understanding, and just like, okay, you can say no to people, you can say no to migrants, you can say no to anyone, but you don't have to show them that they are less than human. Why are you saying no to them? You can just say, don't come here, but don't go on a horse and try whipping them, try pushing them in the water. It's just unacceptable, and I don't even know what needs to be investigated, but it's just unbelievable. But the president said these people will pay, so we see. Okay, yeah, same. Yeah, I mean, we cannot emphasize enough how this is bad. So yeah, so this really exposes a double standard toward refugees. And this is not to pit migrants against each other, or vulnerable people against each other, but it's just to state the facts. We haven't seen anybody being treated like this. Look at this woman with the baby, look at that other woman with the baby, look at this young man. And there was actually another video that showed someone almost fell in the water. Okay, so now then this one, so let's see. Okay, so yeah, you know, the United States has immigration law. We have statutes. You know, the United States enacted the Immigration Nationality Act, which is composed of different types of paths or ways people are admitted or come to the United States, you know, including refugee, family reunification, employment, or family-based. Okay, so not to go into the all right. Okay, so and this is the INA, which allows refugees and how many numbers of visas. So again, at the end of this video, you can go back and watch this PowerPoint. I just want to make sure I don't take much of your time, and I get to, you know, what we need to discuss today. But yes, so there are different types of visas that are being granted each year. Congress sets the number of refugees, the number of visas that are, or the number of permanent residents visas, the number of employment-based diversity. So the Congress has enacted a law and it is followed. So, and then, you know, I also like to give a definition of who is a refugee. So a refugee is somebody who has a well-founded fear or who fears. So it's really subjective. I have a well-founded fear, founded fear of being persecuted because of grounds that are determined: race, nationality, membership in a particular social group, religion, and political opinion, and torture, right? So, all right, yes. So this is a code. The asylum, like I was saying, it's codified. The asylum law is codified in the US law, like code, right? The United States code. So I need 208 or US code 1158. Okay, this is boring legal stuff, okay? So asylum is available to people who are seeking. People come at the border, people come at the, you know, by way of sea, by way of land, by way of port, airport, and they can seek asylum. Or if they have a visa, they can come to the United States under a visa, and if they fear returning to a country, they are allowed to seek asylum. So usually have 1 year to seek asylum. So it is the right to seek asylum for anyone who is coming here or who is inside the US. Okay, now let's go to the Haitian crisis timeline. Before we go to the Haitian crisis timeline, I would like to also mention that there is a principle, international law principle. It's called non-refoulement or non-refoulement in English, but it's originally a French term, non-refoulement, and was set up by the United Nations, and each United Nations member codified or signed to that principle. So what is a non-refoulement? Non-refoulement is a principle that says a country or a nation or a sovereign nation may not, should not turn away people, individuals who are fleeing or who are seeking refuge, who are seeking protection against any harm, right? So the United States signed and ratified this non-refoulement in 1967, in 1968. So that was after the 1967 UN protocol relating to the status of refugees. Okay, and also that was included, or also codified in the asylum law. So basically, that's we are again talking how expelling Haitians, people who come in mass, like it's illegal. It's just legal, and it's against the humanitarian law, international and national, because the US, like I said, codified and ratified the non-refoulement principle of not expelling people or individuals who are fleeing, who are desperate, and coming here to seek refuge, to seek protection from or against harm they are fleeing. Okay, so here we are giving the timeline of the Haitian crisis timeline. The reason why I wanted to give this timeline is because in Haiti, you will see that people from Haiti, they just don't sit down and say, you know what, I'm bored and I don't see, let me see if I can go to the United States. It does not happen like that. There's always something that triggers or sets up a surge or a wave of people living and fleeing. So in 2010, there are earthquakes. People talk about climate change and all the issues with it. So Haiti has been devastated by earthquakes for a long time. There in 2010, in 2016, and now in 2021. And in addition to that, in Haiti, we just heard the president was assassinated, and there are gang violence, there are crimes, there is corruption, and now the double standard that we actually see is that the crime, the gang violence, the corruption, those are issues that have caused other migrants from the other countries like Honduras, El Salvador, even Mexico to flee here, right? there's no war. I mean, there's there's no assassination or coup d'état in that country, in those countries. And sometimes they don't have like hurricanes, earthquakes, one after the other, one disaster after the other. But yet they come in mass. They came in the last 5 years, and they were not expelled to this extent. They were not treated. They were treated badly, right? But they were given a chance to plead their case, right? So this type, and so after this, let's go to right. Yeah, I mean, yes. So, I mean, the Biden administration. So, what gives the Biden administration the power or the they go ahead to bypass the non-refoulement, the asylum law. So it is an old law. It's called the U.S. It's the Title 42 of the U.S. Code, Section 265, which states that the based on or for health safety measures, the government can prohibit the entry of certain person who potentially pose a health risk because they entered the country to bypass health screening measures. So it's so what the I have to say this was put in place, or the title has been there, but it has not been active since 1944. It's an old one. So now the Biden administration, actually the Trump administration put in CDC guidelines this, I guess, like you said, the Congress enacts a law, or the Congress, codifies laws, but the executive, which is the office of the president and all the agencies and departments under his administration, put in action or implements the law. So this law was not implemented or not in this way until Trump took office, or and now with COVID, he saw a way to implement this law. So which includes the what is it? The visa restrictions on entry from people who come from countries that are affected by COVID, which those restrictions right now they are being lifted, but also in terms of people who are coming through the border by way of sea or land, CDC or CBP, which is the Custom Borders Protection Agency, is applying this law to prohibit the entry of people who come in mass, because they are saying that they are bypassing the health screening measures. So they are coming in mass. There's no way to see, to check their temperature, or to test if they don't have COVID. So they are bringing COVID to us. But that's a way really of discrimination, because I mean, if we are vaccinating everyone, and if we are asking everyone to be vaccinated, and we are sending the vaccines to all the other countries, they could vaccinate. That's a good way. So they can have them vaccinated instead of saying, "Okay, we are expelling you." So now, what actually is also interesting is that a federal district court in DC has set a preliminary injunction which stayed for 14 days from September 16. There's injunction on the use or on the implementation of Title 42 on families, to separate families, because the court says that it's likely that the plaintiffs, which is in a group of advocates for immigrants who sued or who brought a legal action against the Biden administration not to use Title 42. And it's funny that Title 42 was implemented by the Trump administration. The Biden administration came on, it's like, oh yeah, we'll continue this policy even if they were saying, you know, we treat people in humane ways. So, but the court has enjoined this preliminary injunction, has put in preliminary injunction on the application on the enforcement of Title 42 against or on migrants seeking asylum or the families or family units, to separate family units. And it's because that the court has, or the judge who heard this case determined that it's likely the plaintiffs will prevail on merits because the Title 42, this Title 42, this US code is not support, does not, or it overreaches. So it overreaches the intent or the authority granted by Congress to the president, because this Title 42 does not supersede the asylum law or other humanitarian protections. So it is in violation of the statute or the statutory procedures and the humanitarian protections such as asylum. So how is Title 42 in violation of statutory procedures? So we've been talking about asylum, but how do you seek asylum? So this is the AIDA president talking about how Title 42 is against the law. Yeah, so the statutory procedures to seek asylum or to seek humanitarian protections are set in this way. So people cannot be expelled in groups. You cannot refoulement. So refoulement means to push away. You cannot push away people who are fleeing, who are running away from harm. So the statutory procedures set in place by the law, by the asylum law, are as follows. When someone is saying, I am fleeing for my life, there are procedures on how their cases are heard. That's what we call the credible fear interview. So the CBP office actually does not even hear those cases. They have to send them to the DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security, asylum officers trained on asylum law. The asylum officers hear their, it's a preliminary interview. That's why it's called a credible fear interview, to see if you have a plausible chance, or you do have like you are credible, your claim is credible in terms of the grounds protected by asylum law. If it's credible, okay, then they will issue a notice to appear. The asylum officer will issue, or the DHS ICE will issue a notice to appear in front of the immigration judge, so you can present your asylum case. So, and get all the due process protections that everyone who goes before a judge gets. So if now the asylum officer may say, no, you don't have, I don't think you have a credible fear claim, or you have a credible claim. In that case, the bar does not stop there. Again, you have the individual who's fleeing has the right to take again in front of the judge. Then the judge will determine to do another assessment. The judge will ask questions to redetermine whether really there's no credible fear, or there's no claim of the claim of credible fear is not there. So in that case, if the judge then doesn't agree, doesn't find there is a credible fear, that's when the judge will order removal. So at least those are the procedures set by the asylum law, codified by the U.S. Congress. So that's asylum. Now, the protections, the humanitarian protections do not stop only on asylum. Like we said in the beginning, the Afghans, they all did not come on asylum. They were brought here, so they have their other, the government, the executive branch has other mechanisms to protect people who are fleeing harm. And I will, before I get to that, I want to touch on what the exception to seeking asylum, which is farm resettlement exception. So you've heard in the news, or even from, I was actually, yesterday I was watching this US representative from in South Texas who was saying, well, these people are coming from Chile, from Brazil, from Panama, from Colombia, so they should stay there, right? Okay, so now, believe it or not, the asylum law is very detailed, also has has the procedures to check when somebody has, if somebody has family resettled in their home country or in the third country, in another country. So what is a family settlement exception? Basically, it says, okay, you can't someone, and it's this, so all this asylum law stems from the UN Convention on Refugees. It's basically the United Nations, all the nations went, together, they set up principles that all the nations signatory or members of the UN enacted or implemented in their sovereign countries' laws. So the family settlement means someone cannot be, anyone who's seeking asylum can be shopping for asylum anytime they get tired of where they obtain asylum. But what is basically, if somebody obtained asylum or obtained residency, like permanent residency or citizenship in another country, they should be applying asylum there before they come to the United States. So now, again, there is really a hypocrisy or double standard. We have so many people from Venezuela. People from Venezuela who came seeking asylum. And some of them, they have double nationality. They have citizenship by birth because they are Italian. Some of them are French. Some of them are from Spain. Like that's where their parents originated from. Therefore, they have the rights to become those citizens. But even then, it's not that because you can claim certain citizenship, it does not mean you are not eligible for asylum in the United States. So in case of Haitian, which, when you work with individuals, like I work with Haitian migrants, they were not, when they are in Brazil or in Chile or in Panama, they don't have permanent residency in Panama. They obtained a temporary humanitarian card, temporary humanitarian resident card. That's what they give them. They don't give them asylum. They don't, and then they don't. That's not a permanent residency. It's not citizenship, and also the farm resettlement exception does not apply when in the country that supposedly gave you residency, you don't have access to employment, to schooling, to property ownership. You don't have access to basic necessities, or you are discriminated against. And most of people who come, from the experiences the clients have had or the conversations I've had with people who went through those countries, they are being discriminated against. They are targeted. Haitian, look at this Haitian, they are taking our jobs. And then, you know, and so you see in those countries, it's not like they have the rule of law is respected. They can't even go to the police to report when that such happen. Some of them go to work and they tell them, you come back here, you'll be killed, and I will kill your child. So if you are threatened, and especially now in the events of COVID, where, like, you know, the economy has tanked in most countries, and there's they are living in fear. So they live in fear. So now this family settlement exception does not even apply to them. So basically, instead of expelling people, because it seems like, you know, let me go back to this slide. It seems like the Homeland Security already has a preconception, and that's the thing with what that comes with how the government, how the U.S. treats Black immigrants. They already have a preconceived notion of what this person is coming here. They already have a preconceived notion, and they already set up measures how they're going to treat them without giving the chance to explain themselves. So it's it's reported, or actually it's not reported, it is in the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security's policy now. So they announced a 6-step strategy to address the increased migrants in Del Rio. So the migrants who are coming in Del Rio, Texas, they are Haitians. They are Haitians, right? So they say, oh, a surge of agents, they're going to put more agents to improve control of the area, and then they're going to they put efforts in expulsion flights to Haiti. And that has been an issue. You are expelling these people to Haiti who have not been to Haiti in the last 5 to 10 years. So they left Haiti and they went to Brazil, or they went to Panama, or they went to Chile. They went, they went. And like I said, they didn't just go. They earthquake, what was that? Earthquake or hurricane or violence or assassination of the president or corruption, they left. So now the US government, the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, or the Border Agency, they have these measures. They are already, the mind is set up. We not hear you. You come here, you will be deported. So, and that's against all the international law, non-refoulement. It's against the US law, the asylum, and Title II is Title II is illegal when it comes to use it to expel people without, and then infringing all other laws and all other statutory procedures and protections. So it's like they are not given the protection, they are not given the compassion, and also the environment in which they are being received automatically sets them for, sorry about that, automatically sets them for in defense mode. So that means if they are not even clear-minded, so they are not asking, what are you coming here to do? What are you coming here to do? What are you coming here to do? So those are not even the conditions to have someone who's already fleeing, and then who knows what they are telling the officers, and then they're putting them on the plane. Yeah. So Right. So, and the sad thing is, only 4% of only 4% of migrants encountered by the border patrol in the last year have been Haitians, and they are the ones who have met the worst uh, condition, who have met the worst defense, or who have been made feel less than human. So that's something all the agencies, the America, needs to wonder why. Because at the end of the day, the U.S. government, instead of just using migrants as a scapegoat, the U.S. government should deal with those governments, with those governments, those nations leaders, Haiti, Brazil, or Panama, Chile, Mexico, Colombia, and then deal with them. How can we make it so that we don't have a surge of migrants coming from your countries to ours, instead of just doing the easy way, or the coward, the being, instead of being cowards, and being a coward, like cowards, and just using the migrants, punishing the migrants for the misery that they didn't cause themselves. So I think that's where I should end my presentation today. So basically, the expelling Haitian migrants and treating them like that. You can say no. The U.S. Yeah, it's a sovereign country. They can do what they want, but they do not have the right to mistreat people. They don't have the right to treat people like animals, and show them that they are not humans. They can say no in the right manner. But also, the U.S. is a country, a sovereign country. That means it's a country that has responsibilities. It's a country that has law, that has to, yeah, responsibility, obligations to the U.S. citizens, but also to the world, because we live in a world of other nations. It's a nation with other nations. The United States signed all these, or ratified all these laws, the non-refoulement. They codified the asylum law. The U.S. can provide TPS to these people. They can provide humanitarian parole. So like, you cannot use one title which is illegal. Like we see, they will not prevail in court to infringe on other laws or rights. So yeah, so today really, for the bi-weekly immigration updates, I couldn't even focus on the other subjects, which we have more, but I just wanted to emphasize how illegal and inhumane the way these Haitian migrants are being treated, and how there's a double standard. Like, and also there should be more outreach. There should be more outreach to these communities, or to these people by advocates. They should be given the same treatment other people are given. Like sometimes when you are, the color of your skin should not really predetermine even that you don't deserve compassion. You don't deserve. You are not human, because they are humans. We are humans, and the U.S. should step up, the Biden administration. So they are deporting all of them, and where are sending them, and is that the solution? Is that really the solution, the lasting solution, or is just like it's a band-aid? Because they will come back. Like I'm telling you, I was saying, like, if you have fled, if you have been in harm ways, being disrespected or being dehumanized by an officer on a horseback might be might we not deter you. We not deter you if because you've seen and you've lived the worst. So this sending them back, they may come back. So the US has to go at the root cause of these issues, and they have to give humanitarian solutions to these migrants. And what they say is like, we have exhausted everything. They have nowhere to be. You know, their country is being devastated every single day. There's corruption, there's violence, there are all sort of things that are happening. So so I thank you all for watching. Because you can always subscribe and follow us and give us the feedback. Okay, now I'm gonna stop sharing. I really thank you for everyone who followed us, and I hope you have a good day and have a great weekend, and be nice to people. Some people today it is Haitians who are being mistreated. Who knows tomorrow who's gonna be, right? So we are all humans, and I think if since we have better conditions, we should look out for those who have less than, who are in need. Okay. Have a good day now. Thanks.